is going on? Happy Thursday. This isn't ideal, but we'll live with it. How are we all doing? It was slow yesterday, man. So slow. No moves, nothing really going on. The only things that we saw was the Euro CAD to the upside, which is running nicely now, but that took until probably like yesterday evening to get running. And dollar CAD, that's going to come back down, I think, and we see gold go long as well. I just want to have a quick look at these pound yen and pound New Zealand. I'm in these trades this morning. Pound yen, obviously, let me just turn that music down a little bit. Pound yen, obviously, we highlighted yesterday that break back below 141.80. That just didn't seem to come or do anything for a little while, but it seems to have come back into play now. So that's running. It's about 15 pips up at the minute, I think. Yeah, 17 pips. Fired into that support region at 41.50. We spoke about this yesterday and how this level was kind of key to any further downside movement. So if we push back below that, and we have to be noteful that we have seen some terrible pound data come out this morning. That's what's kicked these moves on. There was like retail spending, retail sales figures that come out for the pound this morning, and as you can well expect with all the shops shut, that is not good news. However, they predicted it very positively, which baffles me. How they could think that we were going to possibly have positive numbers. I suppose because it's based on the last month and they're looking at Christmas data, but yeah, terrible figures. So we're seeing a snapback to that reaction at the moment. I'm risk-free in both my positions, so if they get stopped, they get stopped. But also on the flip side of that, obviously I want them to break back below that 50 level. As it stands, I've already given back 20 pips profit this morning. I should have just taken it off the table, but we should leave it running. There's 30 pips profit on the table between the two positions. Dollar CAD, I do really like the short, and I like gold long. I tried to take gold long just now, and I've just been stopped. I got stopped out pretty quickly, to be fair. If we come back down through the lower time frames, I tried to take gold long, and literally straight away my stop loss was at 51.18.59, and we dropped below it by like 2 pips, so I got caught. Would now be at break even. That will go, I think. I think a little bit of dollar weakness is going to come into today. So dollar CAD short is something that's 100% on my radar. This Aussie yen I have no interest in. I do, however, have some interest in euro dollar longs. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that because that's not relevant to us right now. So I just want to find a potential target and potential entry area for this dollar long. Obviously, we're just breaking above these resistance levels, but if we have a look at the moment, like we're literally just breaking above it. So we've seen this higher high and higher low formation. We're seeing this push up. I'm pretty sure that there is euro data that's just come out. That is what is driving this move at the moment. But I do still, anyone who knows me or spoken to me about trading knows that I'm pretty big on euro strength this year as a whole throughout the whole situation. So I think we're likely to see something come of it. I think we're quite likely to see something come out of the euro dollar at some point. That said, so we've got an entry there at 21.80, which is cool. Just need to find potential target, which I think is going to have to come in here. See previous resistance. So 22.20, 40 pips isn't ideal, to be honest, but how can you ignore it? And then I think you're going to go again at... So I think Euro USD is going to be a pair that we get targets at every 40 pips, every 50 pips. But I do really like this, and we should get a relatively tight stop loss, if I'm honest. If we enter at 80, we can get probably a 25 pip stop loss out of it. Risk to reward's just not there though. How much momentum have we got? Okay, so there's still a fair bit of like the daily trading range to go. So we could see a more significant push. Maybe into this previous region. Let me just come out to the daily time frame. I want to take into account that double bar really. Starting the 4 hours, those previous highs. Okay, I'm relatively comfortable setting like a longer term target at 22.80. Should we get there? If we break back below 21.40, then I will reconsider the long altogether. As it seems, obviously we're getting the breakout. We would never expect to break out first time round. What I'd want to see is the push back to the upside. Now that we're starting to reject back inside of this region. So we shall see how that goes. Keep an eye on these. Just want to have a look at that. That's pushed all the way back to entry and looks potential to reject. We've seen these lower highs form on the pound pairs. And obviously we've now broken this consolidation, so it makes perfect sense that we're coming back to that 80 region to test it. If you're not already in it from 80, then the next opportunity to get in will be at 41.50. Pound New Zealand, the fact that we're making the potential for that higher low is not ideal. I don't particularly like that, especially given the fact that we've now flown back another 30 odd pips. Just going to come to the lower time frames. So we're still finding support around this region. Failed to break the lows. I don't know. We'll see how they play out. At the end of the day, there's about 0.5% risk on each of them positions at the moment, so I can't say that I'm particularly gutted if they don't come into play. And for dollar CAD, I'm quite content for that to climb a little bit higher before we get an entry. I mean, we just need to see what the London session brings. Obviously, these pound moves have been very, very quick, very sharp movements off the back of data. So the fact that they want to pull back is perfectly understandable. We just need to see what the London session brings. However, what I am kind of anticipating, or what I am considering, that, I mean, I've probably been stopped on this now for break even, but what I am also expecting is a push back towards 90.80. But we shall see. That's purely just because of all these Asian highs. Push back into there to test that region before we come back short. So maybe a little bit of consolidation on Pound New Zealand between 90.80 and 90.20 for a couple of hours as we settle into today. Dollar CAD we shall see. Euro dollar, I'm big on the long today. I'm big on gold longs as well. Although I will not ignore the fact if we reject from this previous region, that would just be silly to discount when you could fire into 18.45 and bank the best part of 150 pips quite quickly, quite easily. Euro yen, not overly interested in at the moment. We're just rejecting these previous highs again. So we shall have to wait and see what happens. But the fact that we are, or I personally am pound yen short, not particularly interested in taking a long on euro yen, very counterproductive. Euro CAD still in, that should fire into target. That's going to bank a nice to like 170 pips, which is nice. From the break of yesterday when we were talking above 153.30, or dollar CAD above 126.30. Both of those positions came good for the long, so we shall see how we progress and continue with that. There are a couple things that I was sent overnight that I just want to have a quick flick through. Let me just open my WhatsApp messages and see what's what. I'm trying to see. What was we looking at? Who was that? Dollar CAD. I've already looked at that. It's fine. Pound Swiss. That's not interested in Pound Swiss really. Let's have a look at Pound Swiss actually. We get rid of Euro Yen. I'm not interested in that. I know Pound Swiss closed very strong yesterday. That's going to push back up 100%. Yesterday's Pound Swiss closed very weak, and then we had that push to the downside already this morning. That's fundamentally driven. We already know that from this move. That's coming back 100% into 121.30. Such a good coffee this morning. That will come back into 121.30. We'll come back and fire into these previous lows. In fact, you can see it all the way through here. Big level of support. I would be very inclined to set a sell stop at a sell limit even, should I say, at 121.30. Definitely get away with like a 20-25 pip stop loss. Targeting, yeah, around where we are now. So 120.40, somewhere around that region. I think that as a short position and a fresh swing would make a lot of sense. There is more pound data out at some point, or I don't know when though. When. So we've got Euro PMI out at 9 o'clock. Then at 9:30 we have pound PMI data. So there's a relative amount of like quite high impact data. Biden speaks later tonight, and there's like US home sales to watch out for as well this afternoon. So a relatively high amount of data going on. We just need to see how things go. That's come all the way back to entry. We knew it would. Rejecting it. Like these things, like it's very easy to get emotional when it comes to like these pullbacks. You go big into profit, and then you automatically want to just come off a table. I'm still in it by pips, literally pips at the moment, but it's very easy to lose your emotions and lose control. Like the simplest thing to do is either to eliminate the risk, take your risk off the table. If you can't do that, or you don't want to do that for whatever reason, then you just have to be comfortable and prepared. When we go through our risk management and go through our risk management plans, like we accept the fact that we've put that risk into the market. We don't control this. All of these candlesticks and all of this data isn't controlled by us. There's nothing we can do about it. All we have to do is time the momentum pushes, find our key levels, find our key areas, and then just trade what we're shown. we get involved in the market and we already accept the risks that are involved in that. We manage our risk to our stop loss. Our stop loss is never managed to money. Our stop loss is a technical area, and then we manage our money to fit the trade. But you should, I say you should never risk more than 2%. There are times where I'll risk 3% on a position if I have the utmost confidence in it, but you should never be risking anything more than like 2% at a time anyway. So even if you take a loss that's so easily recoverable by just hitting one trade, like we have trade like here, a 6-1. I've got 5 attempts to get this wrong. As long as it breaks through and hits target once, I'm coming out as a winner. Alright, it's not as much profit as I would have liked it to happen, but it's managed. Losses are part and parcel of the game. You just have to learn to accept them. So there's no point getting emotional. If you've gained 40 odd pips in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, then you can't get emotional when it flips back on you the same way. You just have to ride it out. Be prepared to trust what you think, to trust your analysis. Like I said, I'm more than happy for this pound Swiss to come back up. Reject away. This pound yen, I'm not too content. If we start to break back above 141.90, I might start getting a little bit nervous. Again, with pound New Zealand, if we start to break back above kind of 50, then I might start to get a little bit nervous. But until those things happen, until those things occur, there's no point getting emotional about it. There's nothing that I can do to control it. I can't force that price to go down. Might close out of this in a second. Don't want to alert. Actually, no, I do want to alert. $121.80. Actually, I want to alert 121.85 because I want to know when we break above the highs. See what's going on there. Dollar CAD we'll leave for now. I also want to set an alert on gold at 160, 1863. So that I know when we've broken back above those highs, ready to take the long. I'm going to also alert for the short at 156. Whole number. So when we've broken back below the lows, I'll take the 150 pips down. If we break back above the highs, I will take the 110 pips to the upside. Either way, decent trade, and it will happen very quickly. Euro USD is just broken back above 121.80. We still haven't closed above this level, which makes me a little bit nervous. I think if any position that we were to get involved in at the moment, we're likely to see a pullback into the 60 region. So we would need a 20, about a 30 pip stop loss, which is great if you intend to hold it all the way up to 22.80, but if you don't, then it starts to not make much sense. We'll leave them for a bit. Oh no. Close that gold chart. So yeah, there are certainly things to be looking at this morning. There's certainly quite a lot going on. Gold shorts or long come into play. Euro long above 85. We're definitely going to need to break above. Do really want to see a new swing form though. Don't want to just get involved off a massive momentum push like this. So we shall see. Pound Swiss, I have a sell limit in place at 121.30. If that's hit, then happy days. I'm more than content to risk 25 pips on that. a very decent risk to reward on that. A solid 80, 90. Sorry, potentially even 100 pips by the time we get through that. Dollar CAD. I love the short on this, to be fair. I think I might close Euro CAD, close Dollar CAD out, and potentially flip these positions. Not the Euro CAD, I don't want to flip that, but I do think I want to flip Dollar CAD and go short. Stop at 127.20, 40 pip stop. Or maybe not, 2 to 1. Maybe a 30 pip stop loss. $30 pip stop loss, I think. Let's do that. The place of the lost towns. US dollar CAD. It's a little bit counterproductive because obviously we've seen such a large push to the upside, but I do really quite like the short, so I am now involved in a dollar CAD short. Targeting 126, but I'm actually looking to hold for a break back below, and I have a stop loss at 15. 27.15, so a 30 pip stop loss, a little over 80 pip gain. We shall see how we play out. The fact that we're getting this little double bar, this little tweezer top formation, I like. We're rejecting from a level that we'd already highlighted. We were already expecting some form of rejection or break above. So yeah, let's see how that goes. In fact, I'm gonna send that out as well. 2 seconds. US dollar CAD. So stop loss 127. 126. We shall see how that plays out. I'm out of Euro CAD. 110 pips banked. Slightly later entry than what we had there. Pound yen doesn't look ideal. Pound New Zealand. Some very big moves. It's a lot of rejection, isn't it? Might have messed up here. Might have not taken profit off the table at the right time. I'm pretty sure I'm out for break even, but I think I had a prime opportunity to take profit off the table and neglected to do so, and I'm going to pay the price for it. We shall see. We shall see. Can't get it right every time. But we shall see. Close my calendars. I mean, we'll see a reasonable push on the London Open now. We're going to get that push on the Euro. You always get like a quick flood the first 10 minutes of like a session opening. You'll have like a mass flood of liquidity. There we go. So that alert's gone off on Euro USD. So that's popped back above. Gold's popped back above. A little bit gutted I got stopped on that. That would have been a nice position. Phone's going nuts as well now with alerts. We shall see. The fact that we've pushed immediately on these opens gives me more of an indication that we're likely to see price go the other way. To have something that pushes quite so quickly immediately, we're almost certainly going to pull back. I mean, I'm more than happy for the pound pairs to just plummet, but I don't think that's going to happen. We still have, what was the euro data that's just come out? Okay, so PMI was not good, but only marginally for the euro, so we shall probably a bit of mixed data for the euro this morning. I can't see that the pound's PMI is going to be positive. I'd quite like to get second entries or new entries, fresh entries on these pound pairs, because I think data-wise we're likely to see the pound drop off again this morning. That said, obviously I am currently dollar CAD short. We'll see how that plays out. More than content for it to push up. If it needs 2 to 127 to reject, Euro CAD I'm out, so that doesn't matter. Pound Swiss still have that sell stop in place. Gold, gonna keep an eye on lower time frames. It looks like that move's already occurred. To get stopped by 2 pips is a killer. The gold long is on. Anyone who wants to take that, I would be quite content that that's gonna end up going. Euro USD, I want to see that pullback. Like, I need to see that pullback before I get involved. Need to drop back below and before going, but we have that lower high, higher low even, and higher high forming, so it's a positive sign. Pound's just messing about, but that will drop again. So yeah, there's a few things to keep an eye on this morning. Dollar CAD, like I say, we're already in. Gold, if you want to, then I think that presents quite a lot of potential, at least 110 pips. Pound Swiss, not interested in a short until we break back below previous lows at 120.80. If that does occur, then we'll probably look to take a potential position. I'm not sure at the moment. Would prefer to get the sell limit that I have in place at 121.30 before the push to the downside. Pound yen, I will take again if we break back below 80. Pound New Zealand, I will take again if we get a weak close. Euro USD, want to see a pullback to 121.70. From there, though, I am content to take a relatively conservative position up to 122.80. So yeah, that is where the ground lies at the moment. I also think Euro CAD I might look to flip on its head if the opportunity presents itself. If we end up with a close somewhere around 54.20, I'll look to take Euro CAD and take the short position on that looking to try and gain a new swing. Probably look to target somewhere in the region of 153.50 and work my way from there. So yeah, I hope everyone has a good day, whatever it is that you are up to, whatever it is that you are doing. Be sensible. Like I say, there's some pound data out in a little bit, and there is US data out around lunchtime. So we need to take those things into account. Apart from that, we've got some decent potential positions that have set up, some decent potential all around the board. So we will look to take advantage of these as and when they present themselves. Have a good day. I will catch up with people a little bit later.